Hello and welcome, guys. Today I'm going to teach you how to beat gold Pride P.u.n.k with hand traps, and also where not to hand trap. So to start, we're going to take a look at our Ash Blossom targets. So let's try out a little test hand here. 4 and 5. Okay. So this hand, I'd like to demonstrate where it is good and where it is bad to use Ash Blossom. So to start, let's just do the most typical play that you'll see in this list, or in this deck, is a normal summon Xiamen. I'll then activate Xiamen's effect. And if I activate Xiamen effect, you can, if you want to, use Ash Blossom here. So let's say you do. What happens? If I have emergency teleport, the search target, or any access to Pride, you get punished. So since I have all of those, we'll use emergency teleport and we'll just go straight into Sharakusai. And then from here, it's full combo because this gets you everywhere. So what we've learned now is we do not Ash Xiamen. Okay, well, if we don't Ash Xiamen, let's try something else. Maybe emergency teleport. We're going to emergency teleport out into Xiamen, right? That's the normal play. So if you stop me from getting to Xiamen off of emergency teleport, what do? I'll normal summon him. Or I'll see Foxy Tune and special summon him. So Ash on E-Telly is really bad, especially if I've got 2 E-Tellys, since this isn't once per turn. So that's another target we should not be using Ash on. So let's say you let me get a little bit into my combo. So I'll go normal summon Xiamen, Xiamen effect. The normal search here will be Foxy Tune. So then I'll add the Foxy Tune, and then I'll use the effect of Foxy, sending him to the graveyard to special. If you Ash here, a few things can happen. So first, nothing, because I could have emergency teleport or any gold Pride and I just keep playing. Or it actually hurts because it's really hard to have an extra summon off of the Foxy, because Foxy is normally the best extender in the deck. But if we have emergency teleport, it never mattered, and if we've got gold Pride, it never mattered. In this hand, it did not matter. So because it's super variant reliant, I wouldn't suggest ashing on the Foxy Tune either. So that leaves us with a question. Where should we Ash Blossom? Well, let's run through the combo to start. We'll normal summon Xiamen, Xiamen effect. Add our Foxy. Foxy Tune effect. Discard another card because you let it go through. That'll bring out Sharakusai. Sharakusai effect. This will make Carp. And this right here, this next step is probably the best place to Ash in the deck if you want to try and cripple this deck's ability to play. So what happens next is we tribute the Rising Carp as cost to try and summon 2 from deck. If you Ash here, I'll be left on 3 cards, and those 3 cards need to be somewhat playable for it to even matter. And even if they are, it's really awkward because we have a hard time getting to the level 5 P.u.n.k, the Deer Note, without using Carp. So now that we're here, it's really awkward. Unfortunately, this hand is straight gas because we can just go better luck next time, and we'll add Roller Baller, and then we can special him, and then we still have a tuner because of E-Telly, so we could grab the Wagon, which lets us still play, but that's because we had like 3 starters in this hand. So sometimes it matters, sometimes it does not matter if you Ash the Carp, but it is really big because it forces us to use even more resources to try and get even half the board we would have had. So I would say Ash or Ash target number 1 is Rising Carp. Very good place to hit. Oh no, my hand. Anyways, another good place to hit would actually be on this trap. So I've built my whole board, and my board probably will look like a... We'll probably have him here. We'll have a bunch of traps set, and we'll have something like a Sharakusai in the here, and maybe a Leon, and maybe sometimes a Baller, sometimes a Carry, and maybe even not a Leon, but it's mostly these interactions, and this might be how we get to the Baller. So if you see this setup and you summon, and I try and pop your card, this is a really good Ash target because if you don't Ash this, you're losing a monster, and then I'm also gonna summon Roller Baller on you. And once I summon Roller Baller on you, that's really hard to get past. So the secondary Ash target is going to be the Start Your Engine, since this summons from deck. Another great Ash target is going to be the Better Luck Next Time. This really hurts the Pride portion of the deck. So if you hit it on Better Luck Next Time or on the Chariot Carry, it makes it very hard for the Pride portion to be played. Unless I happen to hard open it. I have to hard open it in order to play Pride at this point, and even if I do, what I really want to hard open at that point is Rollerballer, and there's only so many Rollerballers in the deck. So if you hit Ash here or here, that means I'm not getting the Foolish and the Search, which means I'm not getting access to anything outside of Punk guaranteed, which means the scariest end board you're going to see is a Jam Dragon Drive, a Sharakusai, and a few in hand. Let's see if I can find the man. A Sharakusai, there he is. And maybe an Imperm and the Searched Imperm. So you'll be dealing with a double Imperm and a Bounce, which is a lot easier than double Imperm, Bounce, Absorb, Destroy, and Summon. So the few Ash targets I would suggest hitting in this deck are Chariot Carry, Rising Carp, the Pride Continuous spell, because sometimes you need to pay life points with some of these hands. So if you hit the Pride Continuous spell, we can't pay life points and we can't special out the Prides if we happen to hard open them. So it makes it really, really hard to play. And I'd say these are probably your strongest Ash targets in the entire deck. If there's one thing you're going to Ash, it's going to be one of these three. If you're scared of Gold Pride, you'll Ash either the Chariot Carry or the Better Luck Next Time, whichever you... or I'd suggest this, but if you really want to ball out, you do the Chariot Carry, especially if you see two hand traps, because if we happen to see Pride anyways, we can just make her, she gets you let this go through, this gets ashed, but now we've already got like a carry engraved, so if we have a Zia or a Leon in hand, we're still making Star Leon, so we're still getting somewhere. But if you ash the Chariot Carry, then there's nothing foolish. It's very difficult. Okay, so for the next portion, we're going to talk about Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler. A lot of the targets are actually going to be the same as they were for Ash Blossom, since most of the searchers in this deck are, in fact, monsters. And you don't really want to ash the spells that are searching outside of the continuous spell anyways. So, to start, if we have Xiamen, and you hit the Xiamen, you're just... I mean, I wouldn't do it because there's just so many extenders that it's not the right play. Unless it's top deck situation. If I have a Xiamen and one blank card, hitting Imperm on the Xiamen is exactly good enough, because we'll Xiamen search the Foxy, and then Foxy pitches. But the other way to look at it is, let's say this is a Foxy, I need another card to pitch. So getting that second card alone makes it so that it works out. So either way, not either way. So if you see a Xiamen on board, most of the time you'll let it go through unless it's top deck situation. But the next place where you could theoretically Imperm is actually on the Carp. So if you Imperm the Carp before I activate the effect, it will be negated because this is an ignition and not a on summon effect. So I summon it, and then you say, I'll Imperm it. You Imperm it, and it's just as bad as if you ashed. However, I still have a level 8 body. So if I happen to have an extra E-Tele or a Leon and I special him out, I've got a level 3. I can now make an 11. But I don't have the level 5. I don't have Deer Note in access. And Deer Note is really big for this deck. Because Deer Note is it gets you back your 3, and it gets you into a level 8. Because normally the combo goes Tribute, bring out these two, grab the field, spell, make a Synchro 8, Jam Dragon. Jam Dragon will search, Deer Note are reborn. So you search for the trap one, unless you already have the trap one, so in that case you'll grab the tracker, right? You special the tracker, and then you can make, this is how you access your Gold Pride plays without even needing to see a Gold Pride in hand, is you go through the whole combo. So if you Imperm on the Carp, what happens is we don't get that second 3 back. The best we can do is make like a Punisher or the Bounce guy in Reborn, right? So we either make him or we make... Where'd he go? No, but really, where did he go? Oh, there he is. He was hiding. Okay. We have to make one of these two, and if we make Punisher, the Punisher is not going to be very big at all. I've only minused 1,200 life points, so you just go Battle Phase and attack into it, and now he's affected. We can Reborn, but, like, what are we reborning? It's between the Xiamen, the Foxy, and the Sharakusai from earlier, and none of these three will do much of anything for me on your turn. So I'm really sitting in a very bad spot. So imperming on the Carp is actually a very good play, I would say. So another cute place to imperm is actually on the Wagon. So it's good and bad. So if you target the Wagon, he can chain to get a draw. But if you imperm him, I'm not getting guaranteed access to the field spell. And the field spell is absolutely insane. So I'll bring it up so you guys can read it, but I'll also explain it. It is Pot of Greed and Marauding Captain. So up to twice per turn when a psychic monster pays life points, which means if you use Punisher, if you use Xiamen, any of the punk names, and you pay life points, you get one draw, and you get to do that twice per turn. And also, you can banish as cost a punk card in your graveyard to special summon one out from your hand. So it lets you draw 2 cards and then also get another special summon, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's a great extender for the deck. It's actually how we get all of our advantage. It's how we get all of our draws and get the second body out, so that we can make the Gold Pride XYZ Chariot carry every single time. It guarantees it. So if you get rid of the extreme sessions, the hand becomes much more difficult. Not impossible, but it becomes more difficult. We're now, instead of sitting on like 3 in hand with 2 or 3 in hand, and a whole board, we're sitting with probably 1 in hand that isn't very good. We've made some of a board. We've got level 8 Synchro just chilling up there, right? We've got our Jam Dragon, and we'll have Chariot carry, sure. But the only interaction we'll have on your turn, more than likely, will be the effect of Roller Baller or Leon, depending if they want to synchro, but it's always going to be Roller Baller, to absorb 2 of your bodies. And at that point, you can either just force out the Roller Baller, have a Ghost Ogre, Imperm, Effect Veiler. Well, I guess Effect Veiler doesn't work here, does it? But you just force out the Baller, and I'm out of interactions at that point. Because we can't search the trap monster, since the trap monster wouldn't be able to be summoned unless we happen to see emergency teleport, but that's just how it is sometimes. Like, we're forced to, at that point, search for Tracker or Wielder, whichever runs. It should be Tracker, though. We're forced to search for Tracker, which will be the second card underneath here, right? And then we get a draw, but it probably isn't a hand trap that we can use, so we're really sitting on hoping that Roller Baller is enough to get us through the turn. So hitting the Carp is ridiculous. Another good place to imperm, imagine that, is still going to be the Chariot carry. If you would Asher, you'd imperm her. It gets the same advantage swing where we don't get into Pride, so if you can beat the punk part of the engine, but you have a problem with Pride, or you need to keep your bodies on board, or you just need to do something with them that isn't let me attach them, then this is the other imperm target, since you can't Ash the trap. Okay, so next I'd like to discuss where to Nibiru. Nibiru is probably one of the scariest hand traps for this deck to really play into, because we don't make a negate. All of our interaction is much softer. It's pops, it's takes, it's bounces. We can make an imperm, but we can't really make a hard monster negate. That being said, there are bad places to use Nibiru into Gold Pride Punk. So to start, let's clean off this card. There we go. And let's draw a hand. Hopefully it's playable. It's playable! Let's go. Okay. So let's start by when you can first use the Nibiru. So we'll go through our normal combo, which is get a Xiamen out. And then we go Xiamen effect. So that's 1 summon. We'll use Foxy Tune to get summon number 2. Why are you upside down? What a weirdo. And you can bring out Sharakusai. That's summon number 2. Use Sharakusai to fuse. That'll be summon number 3. And then Carp will tribute to do summons 4 and 5. So that makes this the first window that you can use your Nibiru. There he is. So the pros and cons of doing that is, you've cleared my board, I'll have a small token. Well, cleared it, but I have a small token, and I don't get to use Wagon unless I reborn it. But here's the problem. Use Nibiru, I'll clear my board, and then I get the effect of Deerno, and I'll probably bring back the Wagon anyways. So now I'm sitting on a token and a Wagon that I can use the effect of. So, you can see how this might be a problem. I mean, if I have a single another Pride in hand or Punk in hand, I play through it like it was nothing. In fact, since I saw Italy, I can normal, and since I have Tracker, it never mattered anyways because I can special. But using Nibiru here is a bad idea. A much better idea is you let me wag on, and then I'll tribute these or synchro off these two into the synchro 8. And then we get 1 and then 2 Deer Note targeting Sharakusai. He's generally speaking the best one to reborn, though there are certain cases where you don't reborn him. Regardless, you reborn, we've got the field spell, and we're searching for the Trap Lady. So we'll have that active because I'm not that lazy. Like we add the spider, and then we'll use the effect of the field spell. And this is where you want to hit, right here. Before I've used, I also get a draw off of that. Anyways, this is where you want to hit because it's before I've used the Madam Spider effect, which would get me essentially engage. I'm searching the trap and then getting a draw, but it's also the 2 level 3 bodies I need to make Chariot carry. So if I get nibbed here, and I get me a nice little fat big nib token right here, then I'm stuck with this hand. This is a very, reasonable hand. Since I started with E-Telly, I can make it to the Punk or the Gold Pride engine, but my hand becomes so much weaker. I've just lost an Ash that I had to sacrifice for that so I could make the Chariot carry play. And so we've lost our ability to get another Imperm, the searchable Imperm. We've lost another draw. We don't have any more extenders. We had to use our Ash so that we can get Pride engine access. And then all you need is a single Imperm or enter battle phase, and it never, and like even just enter the battle phase, beat over Baller here, and that's it. So at that point, you've already beat the board. So if you're going to Nibiru anywhere, it's going to be after the effect of the Jam Dragon Drive has gone off, after we've reborn, and then after we summon the search target. Before we use the Madam Spider effect, though. Because otherwise, I'm getting the trap and then a draw, and then at that point, you've given me resources for at least next turn. I've got 2 Imperms. I might not even summon the Ash. I might just keep the Ash in hand just to continue playing, and I drew the Roller Baller, so I'm crazy like that. So I guess at that point I am making that. But either way, if you Nibiru here, you're forcing me to dump most of the rest of my hand, and at that point it's really weird. Really, really weird for this deck. You could also wait until after the combo is entirely done, which turns off for sure the Gold Pride portion, because there won't be a Gold Pride name on the board. So even if I resolve the trap, unless it's exactly Leon that gets summoned and brings back a Baller, I cannot use the Gold Pride unless I have one in hand, which would be crazy. So that's also valuable, but the only problem is it gives me the 2 more draws and a guaranteed Imperm. So if your hand is really fragile, you're going to want to do it early. Okay, and this unfortunately is the best way to beat Gold Pride Punk, and I'm saying that because I don't want to see people do this against me, and I think we're heading into a format where this is going to happen anyways. But let's say we've drawn our hand of 5, and we see a single search. Yep. Oh, this is the worst hand. Okay, so the reason this hand sucks so much is, in order to play, we pretty much have to use Ogre Dance. And we Ogre Dance, search, add. And once we've added, it's pretty much turn over, because you just resolve Droll. If you resolve Droll, this turn is over. There's unironically nothing that we can actually make here, at least of value. We'd have to get rid of a Nib or this Ash, one of the random cards we just happen to have, but we're not getting our advantage back. So you resolve Droll, and let's say we play, right? We'll get rid of the Nibiru, and we'll bring out Sharakusai. The end board becomes, I believe, Sharakusai and a Synchro 8 pass. And we'll normal summon, and then we'll fuse off, make Carp, and we're going to use a name we don't care about. So we'll use, we have to use Deer Note, and then we'll use the Spider because we can't search. We'll make a Synchro 8, and since we can't search the best Synchro 8, it's between either the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi or Dragite. You know, if you're the player, pick your poison. I like going Dragite first because I just think it's cuter. So we summon it and we bring back the Sharakusai, and that's it. We're sitting on a bounce 2, spell trap, and an Ash, and we had to use our whole hand, or almost all of our hand, to do it. So if you're able to Ash or anyways, if you're able to Droll early, this deck cannot do nearly as much as it would be able to do otherwise. So if there's one hand trap you have in your side, or if you're really scared of this deck for some reason in your main to try and stop this deck, it's Droll. The end board is much too diverse for a lava golem per se to really stop it. Dark Ruler again doesn't really stop it because the back row is as heavy as it is. Evenly matched, that doesn't work because we give you a token, and if we give you the token, then you can't evenly matched. Feather Duster is actually pretty good. Play that against us. It works pretty decently because then we're sitting on whatever we have on board. But yeah, Droll makes it so our end board is 2 bodies, 3 at max. Like the only alternative is if this is a Gold Pride name, I can then just special Baller and then say that is a Gold Pride name. Then I've got 2 interactions, and the interactions are bounce, take. But then I've used my whole hand and I've got nothing for next turn. Literally nothing, and then it's just a out resource me because I can't get there for now. So the big takeaways of today, more than anything else, is you want to stop these cards from resolving. If you stop these cards from resolving, it really puts the deck in a bad spot since it has to burn all the resources it has in hand that it likes to have for the follow-up turn, just to make a board that can maybe contest whatever you have to summon. Also, that Droll is a disgusting card that I hope no one ever plays into me. Please don't play it into me. I will not be a happy man. But yeah, if you're able to stop either of these two, you've put the resource game in your favor. It also makes my end board significantly weaker. And then also, if you have a blowout card that hits back row specifically, I would say that's still pretty good. You still have to deal with the front row, obviously, but the back row is surprisingly good. You never really think about 2 imperms and then a pop and then a summon, but it's surprisingly powerful. Plus, it's the field spell, which is how we get in. So yeah, play Feather Duster, play Droll. Storm works. No, it doesn't. I give you a token. It could work. Twin Twisters and Cosmic hurts. But yeah, if you really want to stop this deck, you have to stop these 2 and our back row. If you're able to do that, we just offer a handshake and GG, you know? Either way, guys, I'm going to be cooking up Bestial Synchro for the next week, and I'll post that come another however long it takes me to get Revolution Synchrons. But this deck, so far, I've cooked it up a little bit. It's kind of crazy. It's a little cute. I'll give you just a little bit of an idea of what the end board may look like, because it is disgusting. But yeah, just a little preview. We're talking about an end board that looks like a Light and Dark Chaos Angel, a Dissipator with cards banished in your side and my side, a Baron, and then a Crystal Wing for fun. More than anything else, it's just because you can. But yeah, next week's tutorial, or even deck profile, will be making this list, and oh my god, is it fun. Until then, guys, peace out.